Hi, my name's David, and I help run Parent Nook. That's www.parentnook.com, where you can get parenting and relationship advice. You'll find articles on that. We also have a forum, although there have been some technical issues with it, but we also have a forum, which is Parent Nook Forums. Anyway, today we're going to talk about making and building long-lasting, happy relationships. And I emphasize on the word happy because we all can have long-lasting relationships and they aren't always necessarily happy. I'm going to give you two scenarios of long-lasting relationships, or marriages in this case, and what went right and what went wrong with these relationships, and how you can take advantages of what went right and not make the same mistakes and what went wrong. First, let's talk about the relationship that did not work well. This was a relationship that lasted over 10 years, a marriage that lasted over 10 years, relationship that lasted 11 or 12 years. All right, the two individuals, who it doesn't matter who they are, it doesn't matter what sex they are, because the issues apply regardless. Okay, the two individuals met, and once they met, one of the individuals, unbeknown to the other, had a, for lack of a better phrasing, a mental disorder. It wasn't severe, wasn't life-threatening, it wasn't dangerous, but it was a depression issue. And what would happen is the individual was much like an amoeba and absorbed any person that they became close to. So it was really easy to fall in love with somebody who had all the same likes and dislikes as you. And now again, I'm not saying this was wrong of this person, because the person had an illness and they're not necessarily a bad person. There may have been some bad things that happened, there may have been some bad choices made by one or both parties. But in the beginning, it was easy to fall in love because the individual that we're speaking about, again, not through no fault of this person, it was an illness, liked everything the other person liked. You know, if they liked baseball, that person liked baseball. If they liked boating, then they liked boating. So it was like having a best friend that you could have sex with. And the individual obviously liked and enjoyed sex, so that became a big role in it as well. What happens though is the relationship developed way too fast. And this is something that everyone can learn about it. A good, decent relationship will always take time and effort and patience. So what happened was a situation occurred where one of the individuals was going to have to leave where they were at, move, and they were going to move a little farther away. Not totally out of the way, but it was going to be a bit of a drive. It might have put a damper on their already pretty heavy relationship that unfortunately, and I do mean unfortunately, focused on sex. Now, I say unfortunately not because sex is the bad thing, but because it was focusing on sex. The relationship was about sex, and it was about the things that the one individual liked so much that the other individual followed alongside. Anyway, about less than 2 months into the relationship, this issue happened, and it was decided that they would live together. Okay, these two have not had much of a chance to get to know each other than what they like and dislike in bed. So that was a problem right off the bat. And to compound the problem, one of the individual had some children from a prior relationship, one of which came to live with them as well. And this was a young toddler, and the toddler had its own share of problems, and just raising a toddler can be frustrating. So again, the focus wasn't on the couple learning about each other, learning how to love one another, how to share, how to compare. Everything was being rushed. Now they're immediately a mom and dad. Again, it's not like one of the individuals wasn't already a parent, but again, the relationship now, instead of developing slowly to get to the point where you want to live together or get married, and they did get married, but now everything's been rushed. A baby came along not too far along in that, so now there's a toddler and a baby in the house. Well, the individual who had the mental problems started finding other interest, and once the individual started finding other interests, the other individual also finding other people that interest that person, and again, like amoeba, started absorbing that. Now the individual was becoming more like the object of, I don't want to say affection, because it wasn't necessarily an issue where there was, although infidelity did occur later on. But again, we're not talking about that now. But the person started becoming another person, not the person that the other individual had married or gone to know and love. That's because they didn't learn anything about each other. The relationship started getting bad rather quickly. There were some abuse issues. There was social services involved. There was family therapy involved. There was marriage counseling involved. As I mentioned before, infidelity occurred. It just got really bad really fast, and the couple ended up divorcing. And they had 3 children of their own, not to mention the other child that was in there. So, now you've got 3 kids that don't have a mom and a dad together. They just have the parent that they were living with. And you can see that later on in, especially the 2 older children, not as much the younger one. You could see that, and you could see how it affected their lives later. The oldest ended up having problems in school, actually repeating several grades. The middle child, who everybody thought was doing fine, that child rebelled in its own way, and has estranged. Actually, both the older children have pretty much estranged themselves from either one or both the parents. It's unknown why, but again, this is what happens when you rush things. They didn't have time to parent. There was a lot of chaos in the home. Nobody got to know each other. So now let's look at the right way to do things. All right, this is a marriage now that is pushing 20 years. The couple has been together for quite a while, even before marriage. But what happens is they met and they got to know each other. They spent a great deal of time. I want to say close to a year getting to know each other. And this was not focused on sex. It wasn't focused on the like or dislike of one of the individuals. They actually got to know each other. They got to know each other's shortcomings, their strengths, their weaknesses. They learned to share things. They spoke every day on the phone. They exchanged emails. They exchanged instant messages. There was a lot of things that were happening, and they got to know each other. And that's very, very important, because when somebody first spurted out, "I love you," it was an honest "I love you." It wasn't based on doing things that the other individual liked all the time. It wasn't based on frequent sex. It was based on true love, because these individuals got to know each other from the inside out instead of the outside in, or just the outside. They took their time. They spent a lot of time getting to know each other. Marriage didn't happen right away. And before they even got married, they lived together for a while. They had a child. The couple is still together today. Again, like I said, pushing 20 years. Okay, the lesson in this is no relationship whatsoever will work, will last, or be happy if it's rushed. And if you've had one of those rushed relationships, "Oh, we've been together 20 years, it's been great." How great has it really been? How many struggles have you really had? Is one individual ruling the roost and everything's based around his or her way, or what they want? Are both individuals truly happy? Are you still sleeping together? Are you still acting like newlyweds? I can tell you this couple that's pushing 20 years still act like newlyweds. They're still grabbing and pawing each other. They're still exchanging "I love yous," kissing goodnight, kissing goodbye, holding hands when they walk places, going out, having a good time. Date night is very important. Okay? The key to any successful, long-term, happy relationship has got to be based on your getting to know each other, and that does not happen quickly. Okay? These things take time. You need to be patient. Don't be in a rush. Your biological clock, if you're focusing on that, is still going to tick. All right, if you're worried about having babies and you're in your 30s, you know what? It can wait another year. And if it doesn't, then it wasn't meant to be. Okay, don't worry about it. And if you rushed a baby or anything else into that, you risk the case of, okay, so you rush, oh, my biological clock's ticking, or even the man's, and you know what? I haven't been a father yet, and I don't want to have a toddler in the house, and I'm in my 50s, or what's going to happen if you rush this and it doesn't work, and then you have to go visit your child? How much time you get to spend then? Or you're paying child support, or you're raising a child by yourself. Okay? A decent, good, long-term, happy relationship can only be built over time. I don't want to say how long, all that, but it doesn't happen in 30 days, it doesn't happen in 90 days, and it probably doesn't happen in 6 months. Maybe in 6 months you can start building towards that, but you need to learn about each other. Do you know each other's favorite color? Do you know what they like to do? Do you know what they feel inside? If to put into a scenario, do you know how your partner's going to react? The answer they're going to give? Do you know where their shortcomings are? Do you know where their strengths are? Can you share anything with them? Is your deepest, darkest secret safe with your partner? If it's not, then you're not there yet. If you don't know your partner's favorite color, you're not there yet. If you can't say for sure what your partner will do in a certain given situation or scenario, you're not there yet. Okay? Learn who and what your partner is about. The good, the bad, and the ugly. All right? And if you can tolerate that and you're there, then you're ready. All right? Remember, a good, long-term, happy relationship takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a few weeks or a few months. And if you're rushing it, you're setting yourself up for failure, or at the very least, a very, very hard time that could build some resentments that could last through your entire relationship. There's plenty of time. I don't care how old you are. There is plenty of time to build a decent relationship. Don't be in a rush. Don't hurry. Nothing good comes fast. If it's worth having, then it's worth waiting for. Remember that, and you can find me on Parent Nook.